What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ajax Reviews. Today we review Wrestlemaniac. Directed by Jesse Baget. While driving a van through Mexico looking for a location for shooting a low-budget porn, Alphonse, Steve, Dallas, Debbie, Daisy, and Jimbo get lost and find the ghost town of La Sangre de Dios. So, Wrestlemaniac. This is a movie that I saw the first time way back when I was downloading movies off the internet. I found a website and it had this Wrestlemaniac and it showed the cover and it said Rey Mysterio. And I'm like, well, I've never fucking heard of this. I got to check this out. So I downloaded it and it was a terrible download. And I watched it, and I had fun with it. So about 6 months later, I was at a Best Buy, I think, and I ran across it, and I'm like, hey, that's that movie. So I bought it, and I watched it again. And from what I remember, I liked it then. I liked the acting, I liked the girls, I liked everything in it, as far as I remembered. Now, this was quite a few years ago. I sat down and I watched this one. Typically I watch movies by myself. This one I watched with my roommate, my fiance, my daughter, and a friend of ours. And we all sat there and watched it. And their opinion of it is a lot different than my opinion of it. But we'll get into mine right now.
Blondie, did I bring you on this trip to talk or to fuck, huh?
So, you ever start watching a movie and you can tell immediately what movie inspired it? This was like a white trash Texas Chainsaw Massacre that takes place in Mexico. It's almost as if Rob Zombie made a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff movie. So, watching this movie again, it was definitely better the first and second time that I saw it. But it wasn't half bad this time either. It wasn't one of those movies that I watched and remembered being great and then was extremely let down by. This one I was just a little bit more nitpicky of certain things. This movie, all 3 times I've watched it, was entertaining and fun. But watching it this time, the character development was just lame. And the way they looked for excuses and reasons to disrobe the main girl were just shitty. Like, just have her take her clothes off. You don't have to get her shorts stuck on a damn door handle of a van to disrobe her. The location was awesome, and so was the story. It was really cool. But the development, it was really lacking. Like, they needed something there. And what's with the sepia tone in this movie? I mean, I get you're in Mexico, and with all the dirt that's around and all the desert area, you try to make it look even more brown, but it just didn't work. There's enough brown. You don't need to add sepia to it. I'd like to have seen some blues and some reds. The only colors that really popped out was Steve's yellow shirt. Everything else was kind of bleh. We got most of the kills off screen, so I mean, I can't really rate how well the kills were. And the ones that we did get to see were kind of blah. Technically, you only see one death appear on screen. And that is, I forget her name now, but he breaks her back on his knee. She's the only one you actually see dying, being killed. Like, you see Steve die, but everything had already happened to him. He's just there, he grabs her ankle, and then he dies. After he tells, the girl, you got to take his mask off. Now it's time to talk about some of the things that I liked. I liked the setting. The setting was really cool. I like the ghost town feel. But it did kind of kill it here and there where, it's like, it looks like somebody's lived there or that it's been occupied. The fucking lights worked. Like, you gotta take some of that shit away. Another thing I liked was the girls. The girls were great. Whether it was the acting, their bodies, whatever. They looked great. They were pretty good actresses. And we got to see a total of 3 breasts. Another thing I really liked was watching Alphonse get his face ripped off after getting tossed around like a bitch for a few minutes. That guy was annoying as piss, man, and I was glad as hell to see him get his ass kicked. And again, some of the effects were pretty good. Now it's time to talk about some of the things that I disliked. The sepia tone. That's my main gripe with this movie. It doesn't need to be brown. Like, I don't get it. Another thing I really disliked was Alphonse. Like, they made him such a dickbag. Like, they made him way over the top just to get people to hate him. Like, I would have hated him anyway. You didn't have to push it to that limit. Like, he was a dick, but you made him like a supreme dick. And it just was not believable. Like, if I knew somebody like that, I would have kicked his ass already. Another thing I really didn't like is that we didn't get to see a whole lot of the wrestling match or fight between Steve and El Mascarado. We see a little bit, and there was one scene when they first start fighting and it zooms out, or it's zooming in, and then the girl crawls out. That was kind of a cool shot. But I would have liked to have seen more fighting between Steve and El Mascarado. Because when you come back in the room, Steve is laying on the ground all fucked up and bloody. Like, I would like to see how he got that way. Or just add more to it. Something. We got like this much of a fight between the two of them. And the last thing, man, the kills. The kills left a lot to be desired. Everybody died by just getting their face ripped off, except for the girl who got, the backbreaker. But then she got her face ripped off too. So the deaths were just kind of, like, they weren't good. So, in conclusion, would I recommend this movie? Yeah, it's a decent enough movie, and it does provide some entertainment and some fun and some breasts. The situations were fun and entertaining, and it's definitely a movie that I would watch again. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. And that's going to do it for me for today, guys. So remember, stay smart, stay clean, keep the dream, don't let the man get you down, because if he does, he may bend you over, rip your face off, and then 619 you until your Daisy Dukes fly off. Booyakah!